Good morning, everybody. Shefa Barucha V'Atzlucha. This week we have two parashat, Matot Masey. We're finishing the book of Bamidbar. We say Chazak, Chazak, V'Nitchazek. Those two parashat are full with interesting and things to learn. And we'll start with one of the main things that makes the difference between a man and a beast. And that's the power of speech. In our parsha, the beginning is וידבר משה אל ראשי המטות לבני ישראל, and Moses talked to the heads of the people, to the children of Israel, and said, זה הדבר אשר ציווה השם. That's it what God ordered to do. Now, we're talking here about what we call הפרת נדרים, and also inside of התרת נדרים. The difference is that we're talking about a case that when a girl, a woman, makes a neder, a vow that she's going to do this or not going to do that, there are certain vows, certain nedarim, that her father in a certain time can dismiss, can cancel, and also the husband. And it's interesting enough to understand that the first learning here is that we're talking about vows, nedarim, that are going to, let's say, damage the relationship or make are going to touch the other side, in other words. For example, if the wife decides she's not going to eat, or she's not going to buy anything for herself, or she is going to not wear makeup, and anything, the husband can come and say, 1 minute, this is going to affect our mutual life, our life together, and in this case he can cancel it. I'm not going to go into all the conditions that they have to happen, it's only on the same day, etc., etc., but I want to talk about something else. This is a thing that is just a title, or let's say a cover, for what we call atarat nedarim. What is atarat nedarim? Atarat nedarim is when you promise something to do, when you have to make a neder that you are going to do this or that, and then you find out that you cannot do it, cannot make it, or you don't want to do it. There is a very easy way to cancel the neder. This is called atarat nedarim. Now it's interesting enough. It's written וידבר משה אל ראשי המטות. He talks to the heads, and then it's written לבני ישראל. It's not written and to the children of Israel, but לבני Israel. And one of the explanation is, first of all, is that Moshe Rabbeinu talks to the heads of the people, and he says something to them that he doesn't say to Bnei Israel, to the children of Israel. And this is about how easy it is to cancel a vow, to cancel a neder that you did. And why? Because one of the most important things is the power of speech. In Bereshit, when it's written, "Vayifach ba'apor ruach chaim," the man put the spirit in, is written, says onkolos, ruach memalela, the power of speech. This is the asset of the neshama. In other words, our the power of speech is really the showing what is our neshama. The Chofetz Chaim Zatzal, he used to say that the power of speech is a holy tool, and if you disgrace, if you don't talk nicely, you are really damaging a holy tool. And it gets to a point that we have to understand the Torah is telling us, לא יחל דברו ככל היוצא מפיו יעשה. You should keep what you promised. And other words, don't say or promise things that you cannot keep. And it's so important that we see that Yom Kippur starts B'Kol Nidrei. We're canceling our vows and the nedarim that we did through the year, and also trying to cancel what is going to be. So it's so important to understand that if you promise something, keep your words. And this gets us back to what we said, וידבר משה אל ראשי המטות, that he said different thing to the heads of the people, of the children of Israel, and different thing to the children of Israel. So first of all, he didn't tell to everybody about how easy it is to cancel what you promised. Because if everybody will know how easy it is, they will just promise things and with no intention to keep them, which is the worst thing you can do. But because it is so dangerous and it's so important, God gave us a way out, and a very easy way out. Because if you cannot keep your promise, you better off have a way to get out of it, because otherwise this is one of the worst things you can do, to promise and not deliver. So it tells the system to the heads of the people, so they know if somebody has a problem and he promised something that he cannot keep, he did a nether and he cannot keep the nether, so there is a way that he can cancel this nether. And it's quite easy. You take 3 people and you tell them that you want to cancel the nether, so they ask you, why do you want to cancel the nether? They find something to open. It says, if you knew what would happen, would you take it on yourself? And you say, no. Okay, if you would know, you didn't know when you promised what you promised, that there are certain things that are going to disturb you of keeping your promise. So if this is the case, this is cancelled. The nether is cancelled. So they find a way to tell, but everybody can say it. It's very easy, you know. Okay, no, yes, of course, if I thought that it's not going to be hard, or if I thought that my wife will say this, or my husband will say this, or my father will say this, I wouldn't take this vow on myself, I wouldn't take the nether on myself. So it's very easy to find a reason to cancel the nether. And as we said, this is why the Torah is trying to tell us that though it's very easy to cancel what you said, the promises, be aware. This is a solution only if you cannot keep your word. But just to promise things and not keeping it, it's the worst thing you can do. And this is another reason that the Torah is telling us, why is he talking to the heads of the people first? Or maybe from one opinion says he's only talking to them, and they afterwards talk to the people. Because who are those who promise and don't deliver? Yes, unfortunately, the politicians and the leaders, they, before the election, they promise we do this and we do that and we do that. Sometimes they don't even have an intention to do it. Sometimes they haven't got the ability to do it. And sometimes they want to do it, but they cannot do it when they get to the position. So first of all, Moshe Rabbeinu is talking to those who are in charge, to tell them, you, more than everybody else, have to be very careful with what you promise. Don't promise what you cannot deliver. So the first thing we learn in our parsha is the power of speech, and our sanctify is the power of speech with the Jew. It's like in the book of Kuzari. There's the king of Kuzar. He wants to worship God, so he does certain things. And an angel comes to him in a dream and tells him, your intentions are beautiful, but the act is wrong. מחשבותיך רצויות, מעשיך אינם רצויים. And they don't tell him what he should do or what shouldn't do. They just send him, in other words, the angels just send him to make an inquiry. Because the only way that things are going to go deep inside us is not when somebody tells it to us and it comes from here and goes out on the other side. It's when we make a whole inquiry, we ask questions, we get answers, then it's really going to be something that is established and going to keep for many, many years. So the king of Kuzar is going and he's asking the philosophers, he's asking the Christians, the Muslims, and he doesn't even think about asking the Jews, because the Jews are not considered important. They are there at the side of the society. They are not people. They are not worthy people. But after he gets the answers and he realizes that all those answers don't satisfy him, so he calls the Jewish Rabbi Rabbi Yehuda Halevi, and he asks him, and the answer is very strange. And he tells him that we believe in God that took us out of Egypt. And he's laughing in the beginning. He says, well, that's what you believe? Well, everybody came here and believes in a God that created the world and did everything. He says, that's exactly the point. All those who came and told you whatever they told you, they all know and believe that God took us out of Egypt. And this is the basic of everything, but that's not what we want to talk about. what we want to talk is, in one of the stages, the Rabbi Yehuda Halevi, he divides the creation to 5 parts. Still life, growing, like plants and so thing, and beasts, animals, and those who speak, medaber, and this is normally what it should be. And then he adds a Jew. He says that's a different level. And now we have to understand something. We talked a few minutes ago about Sefer Bereshit. It's written that the power of speech is really the spirit, it's the neshama, and that's the way you show your neshama. That's the most important thing that makes the difference between us and animal. But this is talking about all the human beings in the world. It doesn't make us special. Everybody's got this power of speech. Everybody, when Adam HaRishon was created, this we're talking about the whole universe. Everybody got, it's the same thing. And this is what the Kuzari says. The power of speech makes a difference between human being and the beast. But it depends how you use it. Now the Goyim sometimes use it in a bad way. But Am Yisrael, the power of speech for them is a holy tool. It is the power that God gave them with the neshama, the Yiddish neshama, that is a different thing from a neshama of a goy. So the power of speech of a Jew is at a higher level, and the level is the same difference. You have to understand. The same difference is like the difference between a man and a beast is a different, or should be the difference, between a Jew and a human being, other human being. Not because we are on top of everybody and we don't care about them. No, because we are the messengers. We have a job to fulfill, and this is why God gave us a special neshama, that with this neshama we have to do the job. First of all, fix ourselves, and then fix the whole world to get to the level that everybody believes in God. And this starts from this power of speech. That's what it is. That's the meaning of a human being, the power of speech, the way you use your tongue. And we all know it. With speaking, we can make somebody big, and we can, unfortunately, humiliate people. We can ruin businesses, we can build businesses. And the power of speech is something that we have to really understand how important it is, how powerful it is, and how holy it is. That's why lo yachel dvaro is lo yachel is from also the language chulin, meaning that you shouldn't talk dirty. The language, the way you speak, should be a clean way, especially when you're Jewish. Lo yachel dvaro. Don't talk like the others. And this is also about all the arguments we see all around us, cursing each other, blaming each other. And this is not only in politics, it's in business, it's everywhere. It's between families. The way we talk has a great influence. I just want a small story. A few weeks ago, we have been in an exhibition in Cologne, and we went through Düsseldorf, and we're coming back through Düsseldorf with Turkish airline. At Düsseldorf, we had to we sat in the plane for a whole hour, and because of this, when we came to Istanbul, where we had to take our flight to Israel, we came late, only a few minutes before the plane was leaving, and I don't want to tell you the whole story. That we were running there, they lead us, and the end says, sorry, the plane went away, you have to the plane is not here anymore. So we went to Turkish airline, and they tried to convince us to take a hotel for the night, free of course, free of charge, and then the next morning we will fly. But we had to be in Israel in the next day. We couldn't wait another day. We had to be the next day in Israel. So all the arguments and things, eventually we had to go to the second airport in Istanbul, the big one, which is about 40 minutes away. And we got there, and they organized a flight that we had to wait for a few hours more. And we talked with them, says, you have to give us something. It's not going, we are not going, you are to blame. Says they wanted to give us a voucher for food, and they said, we don't want a voucher for food. Maybe you can give us the lounge, the business lounge of Turkish Airlines. No, we're arguing and things and that. Okay, we went into the airport, and then we find another spot of Turkish Airlines customer service, and we get there, and we are again. And when my son Nathaniel says, let me talk, go away. Says, okay, good, go. He's talking for 20 minutes, maybe half an hour. We're looking from distance, and we said, no, what's going to be? We tried, it didn't work. And he comes and says, no, what happened? And he's smiling. Yes, we've got a lounge. And by the way, this lounge, Turkish Airline Business Lounge in Istanbul, I never saw a lounge like this. You have there even a private shower room that you have your shower with towels and everything you need, and a lot of other things, and whatever food, drinks, fruits, whatever you think, they had there. And really, it's very hard to get there. Only those that are premium customers of Turkish Airlines can get there. So how did my son did it? How did he do it? How did he do it? With the power of speech. My son, he's got on his a gentle way of talking. And he was talking with this girl and talking, and eventually he convinced her to give us the lounge. We, from the other side, we were arguing. We were right, but that's not, so what? Even if we're right, he says, okay, take a voucher, that's what it is, nothing to do. But he understood the power of speech. And by the way, it's the same thing in the business. Like sometimes you see, I don't talk with people because I'm getting angry very, very quickly. You read the complaints and everything. But my son, he's calm, he talks nicely, and he really changes things. This is the power of speech. If we would learn and understand the power of it, it's unbelievable. And that's what the Torah is telling us. This is why when you promise something, keep it. Or don't promise what you cannot keep. Use the power of speech in a holy way, in a good way. Not for shouting, not for cursing, chas v'sholom, not in a dirty language, but in a nice way, in a holy way. And talk good to people. Unbelievable what you can do. There is a lot to talk about our parsha, but as I said, we are limited in time, and we have in our parsha a lot of other interesting things. We have what is important, not important regarding Bnei Gad and Bnei Reuven, that first of all they want to build for their cattle, and then they think about the women and the children, and Moshe Rabbeinu tells them, this is not the way. You don't put a property before life of your children and your families. First of all, the family is the life, and then the property. And then years later, there are 3 places, towns that can somebody who killed by mistake run away. And for those 2.5 tribes, you have 3 cities, while for the all others, you have also 3 cities. And they said that because that they put the value of property, of money, more than the value of life, they were doing things that caused, unfortunately, people were being killed in Shogeg. No, I'm not talking, not intentionally, of course. So that's why they needed so many Arei Miklat. From the other side, we see that today, the same thing. Look at the road, how people are driving. There is no value for life. And this is something we have to put, like a few years ago, there was a diamond deal that came home in Ra'anana, not far away from here. Came home with a small package of diamonds, and 2 robbers waited for him. They knew that he comes with diamonds, and they threatened him with the guns. And he, instead of giving the diamonds, fought with them. And the end was, the diamonds gone, and he gone. He died. They killed him because he put the money before life. And this is something we have to learn also. Have the right proportion. And this is another lesson in our parsha. And there is another and another and another. But let's close this with the big lesson of the power of speech. Use it in the right way, in a holy way, and put your values in the right place. All the best, and have a beautiful, beautiful week.